Hello and
Hello, and
welcome
welcome
to
to
the
The
Splain.
Splain. Yes, we
I think we're
nailed
getting
it.
better. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the best one yet. Well, hello Dan, and
Hello, Joe.
with and
Looking good.
this week we have with us Candy Shaw. Hello Candy, who's coming to us
Welcome, Candy. Yeah.
from a closet in Nordstrom's. It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just guessing there. But I first met Candy. It feels like forever ago, but I think probably the experience that you and I share in common, and I can't wait to ask you questions about it, is we were on an episode of Last Comic Standing together at
Oh, I
Cobb's.
remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So just to kick it right off, Candy, how long have you been doing stand up?
Well, that's a complicated question. Well, let's say I
Was it
started in 2006. At some point, I quit violently for 10 years,
violently?
and then I returned peacefully. And
Peacefully.
so I tell people, you know what? It's about 10 years, I'd say.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it should be, it was like 20, but like just I paused for 10.
Okay. Can
In the
we
Bay Area, in San Francisco.
Yes.
Okay. Joe always starts, and I'm like, I don't even like where. Okay. So,
Oh, the brainwash, Tony Sparks.
oh, Tony
Yes.
Sparks.
yeah, the
Nice to hear his
godfather
name.
of San Francisco
Godfather
comedy. Yeah.
Yes.
of, yes, the guy that has faith in uh in the young people.
That's pretty
It's
much
true.
everyone now because we're all getting
Mhm.
older, but
Yeah.
Candy, I think the big question is so what made you violently pause? Like
Mhm.
what I'm always fascinated by that. Like why why stop?
Well, I was feeling kind of burnt out on it because I had been in it for a whole 6 years, which, that's a long
Mhm.
time. And I had two pretty traumatic gigs within about a week of each other.
Ooh.
So, yeah, long story short,
No, tell it all.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was wearing a teal t-shirt. No. So I was doing this gig in Danville, and it's a restaurant that I don't even think is there anymore. And it was just a terrible, terrible, terrible gig.
Mm.
There were these ridiculous hecklers. It was a couple, and I started, making fun of them. And one of them's like, "Well, my father owns the restaurant," and I was like, "Well, great, I can't get these assholes kicked out." And then this other asshole starts heckling me, and I can best describe him. He looked like Danny Trejo, but like his not as attractive brother
Oh my
and
God.
with not as good skin. And I'm sorry, I went this guy was evil. And I remember his name was Dana, and he was like visibly intoxicated. And he wouldn't leave me alone. He was a pain in the ass. So anyway, I do this stupid show. I'm just over it. So the show is done. I go over to the bar to eat my free meal, which was basically what I got paid that night. He had already left. He was drunk. They let him back in. They served him more,
Oh my God.
and he starts to talk to me, and I was like, "Leave me alone." I'm like, "You're a piece of shit." I'm like, "You ruined the show. You ruined my night." And he's drunk. I can't reason with him. I've had a couple glasses of wine myself. Um and then I don't remember what his exact words were, but after I told him what a piece of shit he was, he basically, and I know I have to be careful,
No, not at all.
No.
okay, to grape and unalive me in the parking lot.
Wow.
So I just got the fuck out of there. I Yeah, and I was like, I was upset too. Like and I was mad at myself because I let him get to me, but I managed to like not cry till I got to my car. And
Hmm.
like and then like a week later, I'm doing this it was like my little show at McNally's in Oakland.
Mm.
And this drunk guy would not shut the fuck up. I'm hosting, and again, I had had a couple myself, and in the moment, I didn't make the right choice. Instead of like getting the bartender slash owner to kick this guy out, I decided to just stop the show. I forgot one very important detail. This guy would not shut up. He wouldn't leave me alone. Nobody was really doing anything about it, and nobody really could. Nobody really had the power. I mean, it was like just, a couple regulars, the Katzmans were there, some comics, and he like there wasn't a real stage, just a little performance block on the
Yeah.
floor. And he like came up to me and he like whipped his dick out. And that's when I was like,
Whoa.
all right, show's over. I'm the fuck out of here. Fuck this shit. Fuck comedy. Fuck this. I'm like,
Wow.
and I was just like, it was like this. There were too many times in the past few months where I was like, why am I doing this? Like, there has
Yeah.
like I'm constantly putting myself in these situations where these asshole guys are like,
Whew.
nobody's there to protect me. There's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I had it. So again, like I left. I didn't even like tell the owner. I just
He whipped his dick out.
just I left.
I'm sorry. That's terrible. That's terrible.
On it now. And of course, and I like, and my husband, now husband, like I think we were either just living together or we were engaged at the time. But I called him crying, and he's like, just come home, just come home. You sound fine to drive, so just come home. So, and I was just kind of like, you know what? I'm really sick of this shit. This isn't going anywhere. Um, I think I'm just gonna stay home with my dog and my man and watch TV and drink for 10 years.
And is that how it went down?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, I got to be honest with you. Like, I've heard some bad gig stories. Here's the sad thing. I've heard from more than a few female comedians that a drunk guy after a show threatening to grape and unalive them in the parking lot, not an uncommon thing, which is sad. But a guy walking up to the stage area and whipping his dick out, whew, why
Yeah.
didn't you just take it as the compliment it was, Candy? Why couldn't you see it as like a, hey, you're doing a good job. Want to see my thing that I've worked on? Why couldn't you just see that as a friendly hello?
It was a simpler time.
It was, maybe he wanted it autographed, you know?
And
And that-
also, I shouldn't have used the word whip. That was being very generous.
Oh.
It was like he pulled out a little like peanut shell. And it's funny because like people who know me are like, I can't believe you didn't punch these guys in the face. And I was just like, I think they just
Hmm.
a bully knows when somebody's a good target.
Mm-hmm.
If it were me any other day, like I was probably already just feeling kind of down and just kind of like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this gig? Or let's all right, well, I might get $3 in tips tonight, and that'll cover none of the gas. And I was just like, it was just kind
Yeah,
of
that sucks. Yeah.
straws. Yeah.
I had it makes me think about a couple of things. One, I've never had an experience like that, and I'm sure it's much more common with female comedians, but no one's looking out for us. That was always a lonely feeling in comedy. You go on the road and no one's there. No one's there to kind of protect you. What's gonna happen?
Well, they always seem to
know.
think that, hey, you can handle it. You're the comedian. Just deal
Right.
with it. And I can
Right,
even
just
remember
deal with it.
like contracts from some of these, B-level bookers. And there would be most of the contract sounded more like a disclaimer because they were like, we expect you to be a professional no matter what. If the sound goes out, if the audience is unruly, and it's like, how shitty these gigs are because you're putting it in the contract, but then
Yeah.
you're also putting all
Just
the
deal with
responsibility
it.
on us. Yeah, just deal
Yeah.
with it. And it's like, yeah, there were so many. Yeah, I mean, I got threatened and I got attacked a couple of times on stage on the road. Nobody whipped their dick out. But Dan's right. Like they expect you to just deal with it and like, come on, what's the harm? And it's like,
Yeah, I remember showing up to a gig in Tahoe, Reno, just going over a mountain of snow. You know what I mean? And I just remember thinking, if I show up, if I'm dead, their first priority is how do we fill this time? How do we sell drinks? Nobody knows. There's no HR. There's no union.
And right now I'm thinking, who books that?
Yeah. It's a good gig. I'll give you the number after. Good.
That's how they get us.
Once
though.
I got there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how they get us, is this idea of like you can't say no to any gig, and I feel like you can get stuck at a certain level of just like, okay, I'll do that. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, I'll do that, rather than trying to knock on doors to move up. You know, you get stuck at, not saying that things can go really wrong at the good gigs too, but there's door staff, there's bouncers, there's a manager,
right?
You know, there's audience that's also pissed off because they paid real money to see a show, and now they're upset because some weirdo is doing something really strange.
So I remember I did a gig. I did a gig on the Russian River, and same thing. So I had this heckler, right? And he's going, I mean, it was like awful. He didn't quite ruin the show. Awful, intoxicated. And after, I apologize for doing this, what I'm about to do. So it's all facial. Don't get nervous. But you know what was going on down here, right? And he's standing. So he's standing at the bar doing his thing. Just, I give up and I'm whacking into you. It's like at the end of the day, that's all these guys have. Well, I'm just going to pull it out. And that's the last effort to.
Yeah. Man, I wish I
connect.
was that confident with my penis that I thought of it as a massive heckle.
Pull up. Yeah. You've.
Yeah.
That's the final heckle.
Yeah, like that's gonna
Everything's
end.
gone wrong. I've told you you're a piece of shit. How about I just
check this out.
But my dick.
Yeah. And say something to this funny boy.
And did it even occur to me to tell on him? No, you just, well, that happened. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just another story. Has it been better since you've come back though? I don't mean that like that came out wrong, but what's changed coming back?
Well, the whole hashtag Me Too thing has happened.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So I learned that we don't have to take it anymore. I mean, I already knew that from the song, but then we're not going to take it. And also, I think just that I give zero fucks, and I'm sure I offend people all the time because now instead of being like, oh, how do I get out of here? Or how do I get out of this without hurting this person's feelings? I'm just like, get the fuck away from me, you moron. Like I just don't care. And yeah, I think I'm just older.
Why do you gotta be such a bitch?
Exactly.
That's
cool.
Yeah, why do you gotta be such a fucking... That's... If I could just throw your way the general male consensus on those kind of boundaries. Okay, pardon me.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just wanted to harass you a little bit, but fucking pardon me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Is it... Do you think it's true? And I'm asking this in an objective way because I think I know the answer. I hope I know the answer. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's true that women have a harder time in stand-up because of what they have to deal with?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I mean, you've never had to like, well, maybe you have actually. Maybe, you're leaving a gig at night and you're like kind of looking over your shoulders, make sure your head's on a swivel, like, somebody could overpower me and, destroy my life. And, it's like, I'm just trying to, walk to my car and, there's all that.
Yeah.
Stuff.
There's all that. Yeah.
That makes it harder. I mean, honestly, so many things I think make it harder. Like, because I've booked shows and I've had to have female comics back out because they didn't have childcare and like stuff like that is makes things automatically harder when, you're assumed to maybe take on more at home. That makes it harder. Sometimes I've had, female comics want to make sure that a particular venue is BART accessible, and how much will, they just basically want to know, what is it, a safe route?
Yeah.
Some female comics will only do certain venues, and I'm like, I totally get that, because I didn't have a car my first few years of doing stand up, and I was, you had to think about those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are definitely different things about being a woman that make it harder.
Yeah, no, life is life. That is real. How many wigs do you currently own?
The answer is yes.
Mhm.
I don't know. Somebody, I even have a couple dog wigs. You could see I have
What? You have dog wigs?
Well, I dressed one of my dogs up as Dolly Parton last year for Sandy Pride.
My wife would love you. My wife is obsessed with dressing up our dog. She thinks it is just the cutest.
What?
They-
I never knew this, Dan.
Yeah.
No, this is a whole other part of your life.
We don't do it often, but she wants to. I'm a very controlling person, so we do what I say we do,
Of course.
but she would like to.
Yes. Yeah.
Ain't gonna fucking happen.
What time do you know, Dan? What time does the puppet show come on behind you, or is it canceled today?
Well, remember Gideon,
Ivan Miller.
Joe?
No.
You remember that?
No.
I won't get into that. This is a COVID. My wife.
This is COVID.
My wife set this up when she was becoming a teacher,
Oh,
drama
okay.
teacher.
Okay.
This was her COVID
Classroom.
little classroom.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. So back to Candy. In all
Candy,
seriousness,
before I
Yeah.
apologize. But
Yes.
Candy, just give me the rundown. So you're currently married? You have
Yes.
a child?
No. My husband has a grown-ass daughter and
Perfect.
two grandkids. Yes,
Mm.
Okay, so you just get in for the good part
exactly.
of parenting.
Exactly.
Great. Good for you.
Yes. I married a grandfather.
Grown ass kids. Beautiful.
perfect.
Nice.
That's perfect.
Nice. Okay. And you're currently in the Bay Area in LA. You're doing the road. What's your bread and butter?
Like San Leandro.
Okay.
San Leandro that's where I am. Yes.
That answers everything. That's
San
an odd
Leandro.
way.
Not doing the road. As you can imagine, if somebody would go to the trouble of dressing their dog up like Dolly Parton, they probably love them very much and don't want to be away from them
Aw.
while they're on the road.
Oh. Do you have any pictures of your Dolly Parton dog?
Don't encourage this, Dan. Don't encourage this.
I can post those. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And
I need to see that.
2 dogs, because I was trying to so they have like a dog costume contest for San Leandro Pride. So I dressed one dog as Dolly Parton and the other as Wonder Woman. So yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
we didn't win.
So you're a Pride marcher ally,
Well, her dogs.
whatever, or your dog?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
one of those straight people who likes to take over and make it about me.
Okay, yeah, I can relate.
I think it'd be hilarious
Nice.
if your dogs were allies, but you were like homophobic.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, my dogs support it, and I support my dogs, but I don't get it.
One of my dogs wears a MAGA hat.
That'd be hilarious if someone's dressing in a MAGA hat. Here it is, licking its own asshole. All right. What do you remember how
ahead.
you got started in stand-up? Like, what got you into it, and where was the first time you went on stage?
It was a real progression because I had started doing theater. Not well, I mean, like I did a first grade play and then I took a big break from theater and didn't do another play till college. So I took a whole break all through elementary school and
Was that because someone whipped their dick out?
yeah. So I was playing Snow White and Dopey
Mhm.
whipped his dick out and
Mhm.
I
Dopey.
passed out and all I remember was the prince kissed me and woke me up. So yeah, Dopey whipped his dick out. So I took a break And yeah, so I always kind of like dabbled in acting and, did a lot of acting in my 20s. And born and raised in Pennsylvania. I left, I moved to North Carolina. I was there for a few
Oh,
years
wow.
and I was very heavily involved in the theater community there. And, I just really wanted to do funny plays. And I just really loved the comedy. And then I started taking these improv classes and I loved, the long form improv this troupe would do. And they were just so great. And, if you know anything about improv, the main like instructor studied with Paul Sills,
Hmm.
who I think he's the son or the grandson of Viola Spolin, who like invented improv basically. I always tell people it's like taking guitar lessons from Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
So
Very similar. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, then I moved to the well, actually I wrote my own play because I just kind of got sick of all the stuff that I was auditioning for because I was like, oh, nothing's really, doing it for me. So I ended up writing a play, surprise, dark comedy, and had a bunch of my friends in it, produced that, and that was a lot of fun. But I thought, yeah, I never want to do that again. And one of the critics said something about my play. There were a lot of series of one-liners that were more like stand-up comedy or something like that. And I was like,
Mm.
oh yeah, maybe I'll
Yeah, I
try
got
this
that
today.
a
Yeah,
little in my play. Reviewers pissed off because you were funny and they crowd was
yeah,
having fun
yeah,
and they were like, fuck that.
This is
yeah.
art. Art
Yeah,
isn't supposed to be joyful.
that's right.
No, no, absolutely not. No. So yeah, when I moved to the Bay Area, I got here in probably like, oh my God, 2004. My whole thinking was, oh, cool, I want to do improv out here. It's gonna be awesome. Or maybe I'll start my own troupe. And yeah, I mean, the scene was okay, but I just didn't love it. I honestly didn't find it as fulfilling as what we were doing in North Carolina.
Really?
Uh,
Wow.
I here it was just like people were just trying to out funny each other, and
Uh,
they weren't really doing improv. They were just kind of like, yeah, just trying to out funny each other. It was, yeah, whatever.
So you really dug the art of improv.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that means you're really able to listen and be in the moment.
Yes, I am. And
Yeah,
freeze.
exactly. No, that's improv. That was always so hard for me. I don't think I ever spent a moment in the moment.
I get that.
It was
Yeah.
so, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
But do you
I
think a
get
lot of that, Dan, is because of your Jewish heritage?
Probably.
Oh, okay.
And if we just take that
Jewish
part,
heritage. Yeah.
it's going to sound terrible.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Finish the thought, Joe.
No.
We're living in a time where I'm getting it from all angles.
Well,
But
just the constantly overthinking and self-doubting and should I be having fun? I mean, what's my responsibility to having fun?
yes,
I don't think I should be having fun.
there is. Yes, there's the Jew baseline neuroses.
Mm-hmm.
But I always admired people that are good at it because few people are good. Like remember Joseph Rocha?
Mm-hmm. Wow, there's a blast from the past.
Do you remember him, Candy?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't think
He probably moved pretty early on when you were in your early part of your career, but
okay.
Typical member of our generation of comedy. Ran out his welcome, owed everyone money, had to go to New York, etc. But he was I always thought he was good. He would create. It was like those moments, something from nothing. And there's a lot of shitty improv.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah,
horrible.
yeah. It's heartbreaking.
I think
Yeah.
improv is one of those things where I mean, I might have this wrong, but I think 75% of the time you're just like, oh man, this is bad.
Yeah.
But then you
Yeah.
see people who are doing it, and I like the way you described it, Candy, because you're right. It really is just about listening, not being stuck in your head, and then not trying to be funny, but just say the thing that makes sense, be a team member, make the scene believable, do all the stuff to actually make it come alive. And if done right and given enough time, yeah, magic can start to happen. I mean, God, my brief experience with improv was really Tom Sawyer at Cobb's doing the Riffingtons, and it was, oh my God, some nights it was so painfully bad. And then we're all stuck on stage together, and it's Tom that's screwing everything up. But since he's the owner of the club and you're trying to just like, oh man, you're trying to get something out of the scene, you have to keep going with it and going with it. But every time he opens his mouth, it's just like, man, you're making us all look bad, dude. You know what I'm talking about? You saw those nights, Dan. My God.
Yeah. It was. I don't wanna be mean. So I'll be diplomatic. And
That's
say
very nice of you.
It was horrible. That was diplomatic. It was fucking horrible. So I'm being nice.
We had some. I mean, I remember we were doing freeze tag, classic freeze tag, right? And Tom takes over the scene, tags me into it, and suddenly it's a wrestling scene. And he literally picks me up. He's like deceptively strong. You wouldn't know it by looking at him. He literally picks me up and he brings me down on his knee, right? I didn't know what was happening. So I'm rolling to avoid the knee, but my rib cage gets stuck on his knee and he ended up cracking a rib and I'm roiling in pain on the stage, and audience members are like getting out of their chair like, I think he's really hurt, and Tom is angry at me for moving and he's going like, I said freeze. And it's just like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, if you're gonna crack a rib, you don't want it to be for the Riffingtons. You want it to be for an artistic moment. You want it to be because you're in a scene in a movie and you got to keep going.
Those are the days.
Tom wrestling.
I was younger. I could recover faster. But anyway, you come to the Bay Area. You find that the improv scene, it's not what you're looking for. It's not up to what you want it to be. So how do you transition into stand up? How did that happen?
Glad you asked, Joe. In my improv community, met this young man named Nick Leonard.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nick Leonard, nice guy.
So
Funny.
Nick and I did a show together that was actually really fun, and I wish somebody had taped this. The guy who produced this is no longer with us, unfortunately, but he was like one of my first friends in the Bay Area, and he was obsessed with Desperate Housewives. That was the hot new show at the time. We were all just so give you hetero guys my perspective here. A lot of us ladies and gays were very upset when Sex and the City was over. So Desperate Housewives filled that void. And
Interesting.
And I didn't, I bailed on it. But anyway, so that was a big thing. So he decided we were going to do a long form improv that lasted for 3 weekends. So if you saw the first one, come back the next weekend and see how it goes. So it was a improvised soap opera, but it was also musical too. And I loved doing improvised musical stuff. I was so afraid to, but once I started, oh my God, it was like, yeah, loved it so much. But so Nick's a good guy, easy to talk to. We became friends, and eventually he accompanied me to my first set at the Brainwash where Tony Sparks was hosting. I think I don't even think I had 5 minutes of material. I probably did like 3 or something like that. So yeah, eventually I decided to, take that step, do my first set. Before the Brainwash though, you guys know Judy Carter, the Comedy Bible?
Oh yeah.
He did like a one day, like a workshop, and it was held at 50 Mason.
Oh wow.
And I know, I think John DeCoven was coordinating that. He used to book a bunch of shows in the East Bay, and Gretchen Roots was somehow involved. That's when I actually
Roots.
I wrote a couple jokes that I did for the first time there. So that was almost technically my first set, but that was like a class. So I don't know if we should count that. So really, I always say the brainwash, but
Okay.
I like that I had the Judy Carter and then Tony Sparks kind of thing. I think
Is
that's
Gretchen Roots still around?
I mean, she's alive, but she's not performed. I don't think she's performed in quite some time. But yeah, that's another blast from the past
Blast from
name.
the
yeah.
Yeah.
And while
And
we're
I
on the subject, Candy,
Yes.
so tell me about this husband, this cool husband of yours who marries this strong personality, funny fag hag such as yourself.
Well, he's gay too, so it worked out.
Oh,
Okay,
it works
beautiful.
out.
I
Works out.
assumed, but I wasn't gonna just. I
Well,
wasn't
the
gonna come out
funny
with
thing
it.
is, we met. Now, he does have a lot of really good gay qualities. Um, so I had a friend in stand up who, Joe, you might remember Jennifer Justice.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
She
That's right.
also
Yeah.
very musically talented. She also did musical theater. So when she decided to leave the Bay Area, she had this big, she had a bunch of going away parties. So my husband and I, we happened to be at the same party. So he had done a lot of musical theater with her. And of course, she and I became friends
Mm.
with stand up. So that's how we finally got together. So yeah. And he actually told me he was bullied for being gay in high school and stuff. So he is an ally. Yes.
Mm.
And
Wow.
he's like, just because, he did musical theater and he took ballet and he went to Barbizon modeling school, but he's all man, honey.
I believe you.
So stupid.
Wow. I believe. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
How soon before you
First
did the?
date.
Mm-hmm.
He just whipped it out. You're
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was
Right.
How soon before you got on stage, Tony Sparks? When did you do the Last Comic Standing audition? How
Oh.
many years between getting on stage the first time and then Last Comic Standing?
Less than 2 years?
Wow. Okay.
So when they were like pre-interviewing us,
Mm-hmm.
I did lie a little. I said I was in it for 2 years because I knew like they'd probably just be like, get the hell out of here. And one of the producers, she's like, yeah, she goes, you're pretty green, but there's something there. So, you go on
Wow.
through. Go to the next door.
That whole day was it. I think to this day I still have a little bit of PTSD around the entire experience. But
Yeah.
it was a long day, and it went on and on and on and on. You left, you came back. There was an army of production staff that just took over the entire building. You were constantly getting moved around. You didn't know what was happening. And then I think the thing that you don't really see on TV. I mean, now we know so much more about how reality TV works. But I remember being on stage, and I'm sure you had this awareness too, and they would say something and the camera would stay on you, and it would stay on you for a ridiculously long amount of time so that later they could go back and edit it, and get like that awkward look on your face or that exasperated, like, what the hell is happening? But I'm before I say anything more about my experience, I'm really curious. Like, what was your experience that day? How long were you there? What stood out to you?
Oh gosh, I think I remember my appointment was like 10 a.m. or something like that. And it's so funny. I took Bart and I walked to Cobb's, I think,
That's a
which
good
is
walk.
a long ass walk.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I remember I couldn't believe that in real life people actually did stand outside and wait in line. And there were comedians there that I knew, and I was like, maybe you should have tried to get an appointment. Or some of them like had agents, and I'm like, why didn't you ask your agent to do this? Like, I had an appointment. So yeah, I just remember feeling it was an incredibly long day, super exhausting. I feel like we got out of there around 11 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like at least a 12-hour day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were trying you out, having almost like giving you a call back on the same day.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So you do a set, I don't remember if we did like 1, 2, 3 minutes or something like that in front of maybe 3 people. I don't even, it wasn't televised. Maybe they recorded us, but they weren't the judges that were the celebrity judges. One of them was her, I want to say her name is Paige. Maybe she was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
Hurwitz.
Paige Hurwitz. Yeah. Yeah. She was, because she was a producer on the show. She was, yeah, it was her and I think 1 or 2 other production staff people. And they filmed it because they film everything because who knows if someone's going to implode, and that's just good TV.
Yeah. Paige is the one I lied to.
I have thoughts about Paige.
Oh, well, let's table that so we don't get
Yeah.
canceled. No, but what? Well, now I'm dying of curiosity. Like, what are your?
You know, they're mixed thoughts, but her and I started out together, and I mean, way back when we were both kind of in the queer scene, and she was even kind of, the old, she was kind of opening for me, and we would do Hillel gigs together and some Jewish and queer stuff together, and she was just very, ambitious and just kind of point A to point B. She got into the writing and producing thing. I guess I'm just given the fact that I guess that's a little disappointing to me. She would be on that end of the camera in a reality.
She's deciding. She's a gatekeeper.
Reality show kind of thing. And there was also a she produced a Standing Proud LGBTQ comedy special on Netflix or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was just a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah, and
I was on that.
Yeah, and I saw it, I was like, I thought it was just cookie cutter, nothing, Sandra Bernhard, Margaret Cho, etc. And it could have been so much more interesting because there was more of an underground queer scene in San Francisco. Josie's that to me she just took like it was just a very easy, boring documentary.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's sad, but it's also understandable, right? Like people who were finding success in stand-up would have stayed with stand-up, right? But I think she also wanted to control and, have more power and say in what gets made. And somewhere along the line, I think a lot of those ideals, it's art by committee.
Yeah, but you know what? Now that I think about it, as I'm criticizing her, I'm applying a double standard to her. Because she's just a smart, funny person that wants to be successful. And almost I'm looking at it like going, well, you're a lesbian. You should be doing good work. And that's not fair. And she does do good work. Do you know what I mean? You should be morally perfect without a blemish. And I saw her do stand up. This was like 2016, and she had become kick ass funny as a stand up, which I didn't expect. So she was a okay stand up doing jokes about. She did the joke about the Titanic and Leo DiCaprio, and she was doing very generic stuff. Then she became a producer. Then I was like, wow, she is a rare, commanding, fucking awesome.
Good for her.
Stand-up.
I mean, I think it's rare to move to LA and have growth as a comedian, right? Because I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I can't tell you how many comedians said to me, like, when you move to LA, whatever level you're at, that's the level you stay at because it's hard to grow in LA. So, I mean, kudos to her for finding a way to do that.
Yeah. So, bottom line, I'm just being, I'm bitter. That's all.
That's amazing that you processed all of that in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I needed that. Anyway, what were we talking about?
So Candy, it's a long day. Like I remember knowing that I had a good set. I remember, it was short. I remember talking faster than I would normally talk, but I was getting sincere laughs from the audience, and I could see one of the judges also, like, you know what a real laugh is, and like, hey, I'm faking this laugh. And I felt like, hey, I have a good chance, I think, to at least move on to the next round of this. And I remember, I don't remember how they told us, but there was a bunch of us. We were all sequestered in the back in the kitchen of Cobb's, and they told us like, yeah, you're not moving on. And I remember like, well, how do you know that yet? And it was already baked into their script, you know, because they had a bunch of other young, attractive comedians that they had flown in from other places that did mediocre, but somehow they all moved on to the next round. And I remember we were all back in the kitchen just being like, huh, reality TV.
So
okay.
It's just predetermined.
Yeah. I mean, they had made casting choices based on who they wanted to see rather than, you know, hey, was this person getting genuine laughs? Yeah.
It's like, well, it's the San Francisco auditions, but well, here's Eliza Schlesinger, here's Whitney Cummings,
Right. So it's
Jeff
just
Dye. I'm like, they don't live here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, not that you have to live there for that, but it's
how
like,
far did you both go in the
Just
competition?
just the one show. Yeah. Just the one show. So, you know, but it sucks to be up there because they would call a name. I think it was like 10 spots or something. And they're, you know, number 10. And then there's like not an exaggeration, a 1 minute delay. Then they say a name. And then, you know, the crowd, and then they say another name, another 1 minute, you know, so they want to capture everyone's like pleading and prayers and anxiety attack. They want to capture all of that on your face. And I can't remember who I was standing next to. It wasn't, I mean, when I was on it wasn't you. I can't remember her name, but it was a lesbian comedian that I know had been doing okay in the local scene. I cannot for the life of me remember her name. Haven't seen her in like forever. But I remember when they called the last person who was going to move forward, and then she just looks at me. I don't think she was like conscious of it. She just needed someone to say this to, and she goes, "What do we do now?" And you know, and I just look at her and I'm like, I think we just stand here.
Yeah, that's a good fucking question. Go
like, what
home.
what do we do now? Because I mean, it just, and you could feel it because she had a good set, I had a good set, and I think we were both in our heads doing the math. Like, well, there's 5 slots left. I still have a pretty good shot. Well, there's 3 slots left. It's got to be her or I or maybe both of us. And by the time it was down to the top 1, I think we were both like, I don't think we're gonna get this. You know, but it was like a true disappointment.
Fucked up.
But
yeah.
it also, and then you get the credit though. Like, you know, we got to be able to say like appeared on an episode of Last Comic Standing, and I got to tell you that did nothing for me. I mean, you used the credit. Did you feel like it opened any doors or helped in any way?
not much. No, I mean, I think
Yeah.
a network TV credit, like it impresses some people.
Yeah.
But we know that thousands of comics have appeared on Last Comic Standing. It's like, oh, cool, you too. Like, oh, you're in that club. So
I will never forget my first credit. NBC's Late Friday. NB motherfucking C's. Late Friday. And the question I always wonder is, was it worth the depression? Can you relate to that depression where you something in your head's like, my life's going to change and nothing, no one cares.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they shouldn't. And it's not, but there's something you think.
Yeah, you think it's going to open doors or it's going to change things or now maybe
you just think you're something, a little bit of something.
Okay. Speaking of depression, you just reminded me the next day, Larry Bubbles Brown left me a voice message.
Oh my God.
He was there too. He was part of the reason why the day was so funny. I mean, I think my biggest takeaway from that day was that's probably one of the days where I laughed the most in my life. And, but anyway, so I get this voicemail from Larry and he's like, Well, that was interesting. I feel like I was
Yeah.
date raped.
Yeah, interesting side note about Larry though. So he was on that episode as well, and then this whole fascinating side story of trying to get paid
Yeah.
because they basically weren't going to pay us, and Larry was the one that pointed out to a bunch of us like, hey, look, you're an AFTRA, like you just made a TV appearance. You should put in a claim to the union. And it didn't even occur to me to oh yeah, because remember, Dan, we had to join AFTRA in order to do the Comedy Central Last Comic Standing,
Hmm.
which in
Hmm.
itself was like a whole other wake up moment of like, hey, you have to join AFTRA, and it costs this much to join, and we're going to pay you to appear on the show, which is exactly the same amount.
Hmm.
you know but yeah, so I ended up getting paid to be on Last Comic Standing. I can't remember what it was. It was, it was a nice little chunk of change. But had Larry not pushed the point with the producers, and I think he actually had a phone call with Paige, saying like, hey, technically we should get paid the union rate. And I think that changed a bunch of things going forward for Last Comic Standing, because they realized like, oh yeah, we can't just expect somebody who has an after already in the union to just do this for nothing.
Hmm.
But good for Larry for
Yeah.
you know.
Ah,
Ah,
there's to you, Larry.
here's to you, Larry. We should have him on. We should have a
Can I,
conversation with him. But
Candy, did you ever meet Dan Lewis?
I,
Wait,
I,
he just moved to New York?
no,
No.
no, no, no.
Okay.
I think this was before her time.
Okay, so my good friend
I'm a
now,
millennial.
okay, you're a millennial. Got it.
I'm Gen Z. I'm the young one. I don't know Dan Lewis.
You don't know that? Okay.
Yeah.
We're all a bunch of Gen Xers here. Yeah, he was a friend of ours, really funny guy. Won't get into. I remember this was really good advice. I was like, "How do you get on the Last Comic Standing?" He said to me, "Don't do that. You will be standing there biting your nails, and you will get filmed at the wrong time." He was
Mhm.
right
Yeah.
Yeah.
about
Okay.
me. It's just I'm a squirmy, kind of ADHD. You don't.
Gotcha.
I was
Yeah,
always grateful to him for that. That was
I
he
mean,
was looking out for
they
me.
did that I can't. There was a couple of local comedians. I'm blanking on their names, but I know one comic had a joke about lost cat posters. And one poster was sort of written as if the cat himself posted it, trying to get home, and so his entire he's using the credit appear on Last Comic Standing, but it was like 5 seconds of him just going
Yeah,
meow 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 meow, and
yeah.
they're making us look like idiots. And then other comics like realize that, like Keith Lowell Jensen, Sacramento-based comedian, very, very funny guy, very smart, very perceptive. He used two colanders and put him on his head and went as a fly, as a stand-up comedian fly, actually got some camera time
Yeah.
as a result of that. But it's interesting how like some comics realized, okay, I'm just gonna get on for 5 seconds, but whatever. And some comics were doing their act sincerely and almost got punished for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's reality TV, and back then you're like, okay, I got to get on this. It's gotta mean something. It's gotta help. It did shit.
Yeah.
It helped a few people, but
Yeah.
that was a tough time. When I look back, having these credits that don't matter,
Yeah.
it's just a tough place to be
Yeah.
because it's all you want in your whole career.
I think because I was at a way different place than you were, Joe. Like I thought like it would have been nice for you to move on. I kind of didn't want to move on because I knew
Really?
I didn't have enough. I would have burned through my material if I had like one more episode. So I was just, so for me, it was more like, I just hope I get some airtime.
Yeah.
And, but, yeah, like I figured you and Larry might get to move on or something. So that was, that was disappointing, but you were both so far ahead at that point that I mean, the thought, if they said, oh, you're going on the next one, I probably would have like had a nervous breakdown because I would have been like, I can't.
It's interesting. I think 3 episodes and it probably would have done something for all of us, because a couple other people were on for 3 and 6 episodes of it. And yeah, it helped. It opened doors, but different time. But little transition. Candy, I notice that you're on social media a lot now. And I think we all know as comics out in the scene these days, you have to have a social media presence. And I think you're adopting an interesting approach to it. Well, because I see you finding, these weird news stories, right? And then you adopting, like dressing up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're dressing up in character as the people, and posting that, which I think is that working for you? Do you feel like, are you getting followers? Are you amassing, a group of people that are like, what's Candy going to dress up like next? What's news story is she going to do? Are you getting more attention that way?
I do it for the art, so I don't really, I'm not a numbers person. But,
Good answer.
As a businesswoman, I think we can circle back and talk about my return on investment. And such as, so we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to that. Okay. Yeah. That's fair. I respect that. You're doing a lot more producing too. I mean, I see that you're creating shows, you're putting shows together. You're still with Comedy Oakland, right? Are you still working with them? Okay.
I'm part of the Comedy Oakland team. I work with them and I like to think against them too.
Yeah.
What is Comedy Oakland?
I'll let Candy explain.
No. So basically, if you want to go see comedy in Oakland, you Google Comedy Oakland and then you go, oh my gosh, there's comedyoakland.com. So Comedy Oakland is usually we have a couple different venues going at once. There are shows, weekend shows. I think right now it's just Friday and Saturday. But anyway, Samson Collette Carr is the one who came up with Comedy Oakland many years ago. I want to say, oh my gosh, like maybe 2009. Oh, but yeah, it's just a ring of shows in Oakland that are different venues. And, we have a rotating kind of cast of comics, but there are a couple of us who run shows because once Samson got this going, he found he wasn't always there to run his own show because then he'd get booked at a club or something. And so he just kept having to bring more people on. And I'm very lucky I'm one of them because I really enjoy doing it.
Awesome. So, is that where you do most of your comedy in Oakland?
I would say so. Yeah. And then I have, I produce the comedy for Woodminster Theater. That's a big, huge amphitheater in the Oakland Hills. And it's just a handful of shows every summer. It's an outdoor venue. So this is my second year in a row doing that. So so awesome. I'm part of Comedy Under the Stars and Comedy Oakland.
Awesome. Yes.
Excellent. And also Gen X Comedy, which we'll have to have you. We've had one show so far. Yes. Nina G came up with this so we could do more shows together. And what we're really hoping to do is find venues who will let us do shows a little earlier in the day. Some of us like to go home and watch our stories and get to bed early.
That's right.
I am noticing a new trend with comedy clubs. They're starting to offer 3 p.m. matinees on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm starting to see, I think they're, a club reached out to me recently and they were toying with the idea of lunchtime shows. And I think, they're just looking for ways to take advantage of this real estate that's sitting there empty most of the time,
What club?
I'm not going to say.
Why not?
Because they asked me not to say.
Okay.
Okay, Joe. All right.
I probably shouldn't have said it now. I'll probably be in trouble.
Okay, big secret.
It's the punchline. No, because my husband and I went to an early show at Cobb's. It was the Alex Bennett reunion. And it was like, I
Mm,
think it was 4 p.m. And we got out and I was like, this is awesome. We can have dinner. We can go home
hmm
and, watch
Yeah,
TV early.
everyone's old. I mean, yeah, let's get out of here. Let's, yeah. No, I'm for it. I'm for it. I've seen some clubs in other states. They've offered like Sunday shows where, hey, bring your kids. And I don't know how I mean, they must have like a separate room, but they're like, we'll watch your kids. You come to the show. I'm not sure I trust comedy club staff to
hmm
watch children, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, why do I have an apple juice? Oh shit, I served the beer to your kid. But maybe it works. I don't know. What's the okay? So two final questions, and Dan, you know what the big question, the final
hmm
question is. But first, final question: is there a difference between Oakland audiences and San Francisco audiences?
Sometimes.
Wow.
That's a remarkably diplomatic. That's a fair answer.
Um,
Sometimes.
they, they,
Times
they,
have changed.
they can be
They,
equally uptight.
Ah,
Oakland has been a bit San Franciscoized, I assume. Oakland's
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say
become
so.
a bit of an affordable San Francisco, or more
And
affordable,
and
maybe.
there's a little Berkeley-ish
hmm
trickling in. Ooh, that's yeah.
Well, think
There's
about,
there's a difference. I'm gonna say San Francisco audiences are more PC, but I can't think of other differences. But I would definitely say that. I would.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that
San
tracks.
Francisco is always going to be, yeah, more PC, and sometimes it works against them. Like I sometimes they moan and they don't even know why they're moaning. They just feel like, oh, I heard a word you're not supposed to say, and it's like, well, yeah, I have to say that to make fun of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Just let me
before,
get to the punchline.
yeah, it's all gonna get cleared up in a second. But you're already, yeah. All right. Well, Dan, do you wanna?
Okay, Candy Shaw, first of all,
Yes.
thank you for coming to the
You're so
Splain, and we hope you return. The question we have is you have been at it for about let's see, 10 years, not counting the aggressive break, which you took because of penis people exposing their penises to you. I mean, there's no other way to put it, and it's understandable, a very understandable break that anyone would take from whatever they were doing if that were to happen to them. But no, you came back, Candy. You came back in full force. You had matured. You had gotten funnier. You have that joke about your guy. I was dating a guy, and he changes after I get drunk. He
Yes.
turns into a different person. That's a great joke.
Thank you. I wrote that.
That's an enviable joke. That's like
I,
fuck.
I know.
That's just fucking funny.
I see the
We could,
looks people give me.
yeah, that's hilarious. Really, that's a great joke. Now you're a producer, Oakland comedy. You're sitting in a closet full of wigs. I
All my
mean,
dreams have come true.
right. So our question is, do you feel successful?
I do. I do. I genuinely love what I do. And yeah, it's funny. You just reminded me of two people. This guy who goes to my gym, his name is Tom. Love this guy so much. He came up to me one day and he goes, I was thinking about how you start your day and how you end your day. And he's like, that's pretty cool. Because I teach group fitness and I love that. And then I do shows at night and I love that. And that's,
Hmm,
I just love that.
that's awesome.
And Joe
That's
Hill, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but we were doing a winery gig together and he mentioned something like he said, it's like we get to do what we love. Like it makes you feel like you made it. Or he said, like, I feel like this is you made it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I just love that I can do this and they pay me. Wow, that's a plus too. Like whoever thought I'd have a job that I love.
hmm,
So Yeah, and that was the long answer. Yes.
That's perfect.
That's wonderful. And
Yeah.
not to shut up. That's usually what people that haven't made it. That's what they say. We do it. We do what we love. We get to do this. You know,
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, we got to admit we got to remind ourselves. I don't think.
Oh my God,
I don't
damn it.
think Bill Burr is talking to his opener, going, "We get to do this," and they throw us a little money for this. Hey, Hey,
Why'd you have to do that, Dan? Why?
Sorry.
Why? I was feeling good.
And you should feel good.
Look, we can't all open for a puppet show.
Uh-huh. Okay.
They pay us to do this.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? How lucky we are.
It's true, though. No, it's true.
Yeah.
We do have to remind
We got
ourselves.
to be grateful. Yeah.
We have to aggressively talk ourselves into
Yeah.
gratitude.
I'm aggressively grateful. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Grateful, not hateful.
On that note, like and subscribe
Like and subscribe us, people.
here
Come on.
at the
Like
Splain.
and subscribe.
Yeah.
Thank you,
and
Candy.
We'll see you
Welcome.
next time.
Bye-bye.